Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of our interviews. So, today we have a guest from South Korea. Hello.
Hi.
This is Yaren İbişoğulları. She's a student from South Korea. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, hi, my name is Yaren İbişoğulları. I graduated from faculty in 2022, and now I'm studying in South Korea, Yonsei University, and my major is Information and Interaction Design, which is IID in short version.
Do you like it there?
Let me. Yes, of course. Yonsei University is like my dream school, so I really love my school. Um, I'm really like satisfied with the classes, the school, the campus, and everything. So overall, yeah.
So, great. Let's dive into the questions. So, the first question is explain a complex academic concept or project that you worked on.
Okay. So I have actually a couple of projects that I can talk about because my major is like um technological or like design, but not
Hmm.
like artsy type of design. It's like digital design. So we usually work on projects with many people. One of the projects that I worked on that was like pretty complex was um last semester, actually like this semester. I was in a group where we had to decide on a topic and we had to come up with a design solution for it or like general solution, but we
Hmm.
worked on app solution. So our topic was natural disaster. To be specific, it was about foreign students or international students residing in South Korea and how they're not educated on the topic of natural disasters because there aren't enough resources on that. So we thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about. So we had to design an app for that we can actually develop and like make it part of the school portal system and write a paper about it. So we were four people in the group. Two people had to work on the prototype, and two people had to work on the paper. And the paper was like over 12 pages, and
Uh,
we're actually publishing it.
did you work on a specific type of natural disaster or just natural disasters in general?
Oh, we worked on all of them because we wanted to provide resource on all
Hmm.
types of natural disasters that can occur in South Korea. But specifically, we worked on hurricanes and snowstorms because that's a big issue in South Korea. I was in the prototyping group. So what I did was on Figma. I don't know if anyone knows about Figma, but it's the holy app for designers. So everyone basically uses like 24/7. On that, me and my friends created a brand new app for people who can communicate with other students in case of an emergency. They could see the emergency exits.
Oh.
What else? The spots. There are some like places on campus where they can gather in case of an emergency, and they can find like emergency kit lists, like the things that they should be having in their kit. And then like community forums where they could like talk to other students. Also, an I am safe button. It's basically some people they don't have their SIM cards yet because in South Korea you need to get your ARC, what we call. Uh, that's basically like a visa, but
Oh.
student visa. So
Okay.
without that, you cannot get a SIM card, and without your SIM card, you cannot call anyone. So with that button, you just like push the button. Of course, it's not like a real button, but it's like a here on your phone. It's like a big button where you can click on it, and when you click, it will inform 5 to 10 of your contacts that you choose, and it will tell them, "Oh, I'm here and I'm safe. Don't worry. You don't need to like contact me or like else. I'm just like in a safe place. I'm safe. Nothing happened to me." So we worked on that, and then we wrote a paper which is 12 pages long. And this winter, hopefully, we're going to be publishing that.
So great. So as many people know, TubiTech has just been expanded for 2 more days, but I just got the question. How does TÜBİTAK and Teknofest, like the uh, organizations like that in Turkey, link with real life? So how much did they help you in this project process?
Oh, they helped a lot. Like, actually. explore their interest that much. We're more focused on like academic stuff. So it's really important for students, especially people who want to go abroad, to be able to do how to do proper research. Because when you go abroad, especially in university, you're gonna be researching a lot. You're gonna be reading a lot of articles. You're gonna be writing a
Hmm.
lot of articles. So for people or students who do like TikTok projects, I would say like do like or not do this, learn how to do a research, like scientific research, how you can read articles, how you can like analyze them, or how you can write them. Maybe not like writing is like the next step, but at least being able to like analyze and read that thing is really important because when you go to university, no one's gonna tell you like, oh, you need to read this part or do this part or let me, divide the article into two groups or five groups so that you can read like easily. No, the professor's gonna give you, oh, this is an article, this is like 120 pages long, and you need to analyze it by end of this week and then come up with, I don't know, a new topic for your essay. So I would suggest students to do TikTok projects as much as they can. If not, I would suggest them to learn how to analyze an article or just read them in English. They can do it in Turkish. That will also be helpful, but I would suggest them to do it in English because academic language is going to be the hardest part of using English in daily life.
Okay, so let's talk about the university and the application process and what
Mhm,
would your advice be to ninth grader you? And like what advice could you
mhm.
give to everybody in Turkey right now?
So my high school was for 5 years because I also had a prep year. So during the prep year, I really, really focused on English because I knew that I wanted to go abroad. So people who are either like studying in prep year or not, I would suggest them to study English, like proper English, academic English, because when you go abroad, English is not going to be a lesson for you. Like the class that you can take, it's going to be a communication key, like to understand people. So language would be the first thing. Just improve it as much as you can.
Hmm.
For myself, my goals were actually completely different. I wanted to go to Canada and study genetic engineering. It's like completely different from what I study right now. Um, because I thought like I was really good at bio and math, so I thought that would be enough. But I completely missed the part where I didn't want to study like stay in the lab for 10 hours, 8 hours. Like I would get so bored. I didn't enjoy the part where I had to sit down, just check, I don't know, let's say you have like an experiment going on, you had to check it like a couple of times in an hour and stuff like that. I realized that I didn't enjoy that. So my thing would be just consider the lifestyle
Hmm.
of your dream job or your dream major because you might be interested in the area, but you might not be interested in the environment of your major or your job. So that was the first mistake that I did. And in my prep year, I took a class where it was like a coding class, but our teacher was like he started from algorithm, and then the next thing he was teaching us was C++, plus plus, which is like a really hard like coding language where like you shouldn't be teaching 14-year-olders on a paper, especially. We didn't even have our computers. It was completely on paper. So because of that, I was like, no, I'm not gonna major in something in technology area because I thought I hated it or like I thought I would fail and because I got 50 on my exam. It included like two questions. The first question was like there was like a prompt on top, and then the first question was like, oh, write the algorithm for this prompt, and the second one was write the C++ plus plus code for it on
Oh.
paper. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. Like it's impossible. And of course, it was impossible because I didn't like properly learn the code language. So I got 50, and that was the first thing that made me, kind of like take a step back from technology area. But yeah, my advice would be just consider everything. Like think about everything about your major in your job and think about the environment, the payment, of course, the money is also important, the university, and like would it fit into your schedule, your daily life? Because some majors would require you to like wake up super early or work with, I don't know, old people, children.
Hmm.
Would you be
Yeah, so we are currently having some connectional issues, I think. So anyway, let's go off from here. So as you mentioned, computer science classes were a bit hard in our school. Shout out to Mr. Ahmed. And we're still waiting for her
Traveling a
connection.
lot.
Yeah, you're back now. You're back now.
Ah, yeah. So sorry, so sorry.
No problem.
My connection was gone for a second. Okay, yeah. So those are my, I don't know until how, like until when did you guys hear? But yeah, just think about everything that you would go through, I guess, while studying that major, after graduating, after you're like actually doing the work of your major. Just think about everything.
So I know your school is in South Korea. So my question is, what
Hmm.
is the medium of education there? For example, is it English or South Korean?
Oh, so for Yonsei University, or like, let me start from South Korea. So in South Korea, they don't have that many English majors, which is kind of unfortunate because they have like really, really good majors. But most of the majors are mostly in Korean. Like, even if they have like English majors, it's like 70% English, 30% Korean. So at some point, you need to know how to speak Korean. But for my university and like my college, in when you go abroad, it's not like faculty, but more like college, like
Hmm.
College of Dentistry, College of this and that. So mine is UIC, Underwood International College. It was named after that because Underwood was the person who created Yonsei University in like 1885 or something like that. So UIC includes many majors that are not related to each other actually. So it's just the whole thing is kind of like American education system. So it's completely in English. So my major is completely in English, but of course I can take some Korean courses as well from General Yonsei. We call them General Yonsei majors. So you can take Korean courses from General Yonsei majors, but most people don't do that because our English courses are like more than enough. So if your goal is to get accepted from Yonsei UIC, you don't need to learn Korean, but for other majors, you need to know Korean.
So I think that was a great explanation. How did you prepare for university? So we have a lot of clubs today in our school. We have the
Mm,
FRC, we have the history club.
mm,
But what was your path?
mm. So my path was starting from prep year, I joined MUNs. I
Hmm.
I didn't join like a lot of them, but I definitely did a couple of them. For my English, and I wanted to check like if I'm into debating, which I wasn't. So I did MUN, and then I don't think right now we have that club, but for like robotics team, I was in FTC. Like it's in between FLL and
Oh
FRC,
yeah.
and yeah, our team was the first FTC, like first active team in Turkey. So which was like a great thing to talk about on my CV and stuff. So I was in FTC. I was also in science club. We would like gather and discuss one article or like topic. What else? I was also in. Mm, oh, I gave like English classes for free for people who are not like able to get the education that they want. I don't know what was it called, but
Um,
uh,
yeah,
I don't.
ÇED'de maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
mine was English. Hmm.
we have a lot of clubs here. We actually we there was a
Yes.
lot of new open. For example, there's even a
Mm-hmm.
club for to bring back history, to relive history with historical gadgets such as we use woods to make fires, etc., etc. So a lot of people, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of students, minds are, should I go there? Should I go there? How was your path?
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that you were mostly into biology in your high school years, but then
Mm-hmm.
chose a completely different thing. So how do you think did you go towards any biological events, or and if you did, how did they affect your end results?
Mm. So I also did what was it called? I think uh what was it called? Biology
Olympics,
Olympiadları?
Olympics.
I think Olympics. I don't know if it's called like Olympics, like Biology Olympics Club right now. So it was a club at my time, but I was also there. Um, So when I applied to college, or like when I decided to apply to another major, I thought like, oh my God, why I did like biology Olympics or like this and that, because I also did internship in one of like labs uh in 9 Eylül just to see the environment and stuff. And after that, I also did some APs as well. I didn't take the exam, but I studied for that for like a whole year. After that, I was like, I kind of regretted doing all those things because I thought it was gonna be for like all nothing because my major has nothing to do with biology. But then I realized it's like it helped me in like other ways. I was able to tell my university like, yeah, I had these plans and stuff, and I was really interested in biology, but me applying to another major doesn't mean that I'm bad at biology or I'm not interested in biology. It's just like another part of me that is still interested in biology, but as for my job in the future, I would like to pursue something in another area. So, and they thought, oh, that's really nice. It shows like how like diverse you are and how diverse your interests are, which was like a plus for me.
So we had a question in the chat about university applications. Did you
Hmm.
know Korean when you applied?
Yeah, I did. The like long story short, I started learning Korean and then I decided to apply to Yonsei University. So before even I applied, knew a little bit of Korean, not like advanced level, but definitely like good enough to, tell people what I want. Like when I go to cafe, I could order something, like something small, but still it was like enough for me to understand some of the things throughout like the application process and stuff because I don't think you should go to Korea without knowing any Korean. That would be like such a hassle for students and people would like that would scare people because going to another country is already hard enough. So not knowing the language would, stress people a lot. But you don't need to know Korean, but I would advise to learn
How
at
well
least
can
some.
people there speak English?
For okay, so for my friends and stuff, they speak like pretty good English because most of the people like they graduate from international schools or like American schools. So their English are pretty good. For professors, they're also again like amazing because some of the even if the professor is Korean, they usually either like worked in another country or studied in another country. So their English is pretty good around my campus, they know English, like at least enough to be able to communicate with the student. Or when you go to Seoul, it's like they know that there's like it's like a touristic place. So their English are not like amazing, but still good enough. But for other cities, if you're applying for other colleges in another city, I can't guarantee that they will know good English.
So actually, I have a question. There's a university in Turkey called ISTEC. I don't know if you know it. It just recently got popular, and there's a Korean
Hmm.
professor there. As from the information I got from my friends, only 5 people,
Hmm.
sorry, less than 10 people passed this course in 5 years. How hard do you think the Korean educational system is, and do you think he is a good reflection of Korea in its entirety?
Oh, so Um, bad news. Korean education system is same, if not same, like if harder than Turkish education system because they value a college degree or like general education so much. That's actually in kind of like toxic level. If you've seen like any of the movies or the TV series, there's one called Sky Castle. It was really popular. It talks about how everyone's goal is to get into SNU, Seoul National University, medicine, especially that major, and they work for only for that. They don't go out, they don't hang out with their friends, they don't even breathe. They just like studying and stuff. It's so harsh. So of course in Yonsei University, it's also like that, unfortunately. But also depends on the professor. Some professors are really nice. They know that, especially if you're freshman, they're like, we know that you're a freshman. We're not gonna be harsh on you. But some of them are like, no, like this is a hard university and this course is harsh, and you knew it, yet you applied for this course. So
Yeah.
I had a professor. She was teaching world philosophy and she graduated from Oxford University. She went to graduate school in Cambridge University, She did her all things in like Oxford and Cambridge.
Hmm.
So of course she's gonna be really, really good at her area. But I'm not. Like I was a freshman, so I really wish like she would understand like I'm just a freshman, but it's her like year, like how many year? Like 15 year of like giving like and being a professor, but not me. It's my first time in university. So yeah, some of the professors are harsh. Or like the grading scale is actually really bad, I guess, in Yonsei because if you want to get A plus is in between 97 and 100
Don't you guys have a curve,
only.
like a bell curve?
Not all of them. Not all of
Oh,
them. Yeah, so A plus is usually between 97 and 100 if the professor doesn't change anything. So it's really harsh. The A is between 92 and 100. So
wow, yeah. So,
yeah.
another question, actually, a friend of mine asked this while in school. He wants to go to a
Mhm,
country that he can get good education in and still have fun and live life because there's life after and before and during
mhm,
university time. So, do you think, in the perspective of that,
mhm.
Korea is a good country, or would you advise any other countries for that person?
Mm. So, I mean, Korea, for in case of like having fun, you can definitely have fun, like a lot of fun, but it would depend on your major. So, like I said, in UIC, we have a bunch of majors. There's so many students in economics. So people there, so economics, the major is not same as like Turkey, like how they view the major actually. If you go to like econ major, probably in Turkey they would be like, oh, econ, like only econ. Like unfortunately, this is how they view the major. But in Korea, it's like, wow, you got into like econ, you're gonna be like good at finance, you're gonna be good at money. That's such a good thing. So if you major in econ, that would be like considered as easy major for us. So people from here, they for them it might be easy. So if you major in econ, you would still get time to, like go out, do this and that. But for my major, this semester actually I had to cancel a lot of plans because I didn't have any time because of my projects. Or if you're majoring in, for example, one of my friends, he's majoring in nanoscience engineering. So he's taking calculus, physics, all those labs, and then he also took like chemistry, biology, all of those things in like same semester. So he didn't have time to even like go out of his room. So it really depends on the major. But if you're considering something related to like engineering or project-based majors, like my major, it will be hard for you, but it also depends on your like how you manage your time. So
Okay.
Korea would be a good place to have fun. That's what I'll say.
Uh, okay, so another question is, I'm curious about how you apply to Korea. For example, in Turkey, for no matter if you're Turkish nationality or another nationality, you apply via a exam system called YKS or YES. So
Mhm,
how does that compare to the Korean system? And if it's not a test-based system, what do you think was the
mhm.
most important part of your application?
So for Korea, if you, it depends on whether you're a citizen of Korea, South Korea or not. If you are, it's completely different like application process. If you also graduated from Korean high school, you have to take the college entrance exam, which is really, really hard. It's called Sunung, and you have to take the Sunung exam. If not, there's like another application system, but we don't need to, talk about that. If you are Korean citizen, but you're like overseas Korean, then it's similar to foreign student application type. But for foreign students, you don't need to take the Suning exam. You don't need to give the college entrance exam results. Like for
Hmm.
example, in Turkey, after you take college entrance exam, you don't need to give the results. But if you do, that's a plus for you. For me, it was like a common app. I had to submit two reference letters, two essays, my transcript of 5 years of high school,
Hmm.
some like documents related to my parents, my birth certificate. What else? There were like actually a bunch of documents, but then last semester I checked the website again. it changes throughout like the years and stuff. So I would suggest students to take a look at the website. I had to print out everything, and then I had to send it by like mail, like actual. I had to go to PTT and you know send it. It took a couple of days for them to receive, and so everything like happened like that way. But I think now it's online.
Okay, so you didn't specify anything about projects. Do they don't they care about projects, or are they just relevant? Are
Um,
they relevant? Sorry.
so these things, the things that are counted, those are like the things that you have to submit.
Hmm.
But for extra things, you can submit your SAT, ACT, TOEFL, IELTS, AP, college entrance exam results, all the extracurricular activities that you did. So I submitted my TOEFL score, my projects, extra projects. I think that was it. I didn't submit my college entrance exam or AP or like SAT because I didn't take them. But if you took them, you can definitely submit them.
So when we talked with an American student, like a
Hmm.
student studying in America, he told
Hmm.
us that the scholarships in the United States were very important. I don't know if
Hmm.
university is free in South Korea, but if they aren't,
Hmm.
how important do you think scholarships are?
Scholarship, of course, it's good to get a scholarship, but no one's like, if you get into Yonsei, no one's gonna question you, like, if you didn't get a scholarship. They're not gonna like, oh, you didn't get a
Hmm.
scholarship? They're not gonna be like that because Yonsei itself is like a prestigious school.
No,
But for
I
students,
mean by in the economical side. For in the United States, he told us
oh,
that it was a couple of thousands of dollars.
no, I mean, for Yonsei is actually compared to US and stuff,
Hmm.
it's pretty cheap. I think it's per year, it's something like 13K
Okay, yeah, that's a lot different
dollars.
than the United States.
Yeah. Yeah, like it for one, it should be like 15 million won. It's like approximately 13 to 14K like dollars. So it's not that expensive. Even like when you compare it to Turkish universities, it's still cheaper than Koç and
Yeah.
Sabancı. For scholarship, when you apply to Yonsei, I mean, I don't know about the other majors, but for UIC, uh, you get a chance to be like, no, you don't have to apply. Yeah, you don't have to apply. You'll be automatically like uh, selected or chosen as like the applicant. You'll get 4 years long, like full ride scholarship when you
Oh.
apply. Yeah, yeah, but you don't have to like apply for that like additionally. But the thing is, the people that they choose is pretty random. Like they choose so randomly.
Hmm.
So we still don't know like who they choose. But yeah, you might get the scholarship. If not, after studying there 1 semester, you can apply for a merit-based scholarship or academic scholarships.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That was good information for everybody wanting to study in South Korea. So another question is actually this was the most like question from our previous interview. If you had
Hmm.
to just if you had to pick a song that just represents your entire stay in South Korea, which song would that be
Uh,
and why? So I could get the sentence straight.
song. Okay, okay, I got it. Wait, let me check my Spotify.
Yeah,
I
take your
mean,
you can open your Spotify,
I'll
no
talk.
problem.
Yeah, I'll talk about my experience first while I like look through. I think my experience was like I knew it was gonna be really hard when I like go there
Hmm?
because it's like a complete new country and I had no idea like what was like waiting for me. Also, I never visited like South Korea before that, and I was alone when I went there. So I wasn't there with my parents or anything. Um, but when I went there, I like until I landed in South Korea, I was like, yeah, it's gonna go great. I did everything because my application process was like really bumpy. Like there were like so many problems that popped out, so I had to fix all of them by myself. But then until then, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing. And then after I landed, I was like, what did I do? Why am I here? Like it's gonna be such a hard like journey for me. I don't know. I'm not fluent in Korean. But then after I started university, I was like, wait, English is kind of hard, like using it 24/7. How can I get friends? But then later I was like, oh, I like this place. It's amazing. But then classes started. I'm like, oh, this is so hard. I can't do this. But then when I come back to Turkey, I would miss Korea. So for song, like, hmm, I don't think there's like a song. Oh wait, maybe this song. It's in another language. Quarto de Hotel. Let me show you the.
Yeah.
It's something like this. It's like um when you start listening to the song, it's like it feels like you're walking at a park. It's like a fall season. It's not super cold. You're just walking and stuff, enjoying, like enjoying the
Hmm.
journey or like the path. And then later you hear a song. It's I think the saxophone starts later, and then you realize how pretty your like the park is and how pretty the nature is and stuff. I think that's the thing. Like at first, for me at least, it was like in my survival era. Like I was just trying to survive the first semester. I couldn't enjoy anything. I was just, just walking without noticing anything around me. But then later, I started, getting used to my environment and started to like my school and my friends and stuff, like everything. And then I realized how pretty and, beautiful everything around me and how lucky I am. So that would be the song.
So, based off your answers from until up to right now, you
Hmm.
both like and hate your stay there. So,
Yeah.
my question is, if you had the chance to
Hmm.
do it all again, and go to
Hmm.
South Korea, would you?
Hmm. Yes. So I would definitely do it again. Like I would be completely okay with doing it again, but
Hmm.
I would change a couple things. For example, I would tell myself, it's okay. Like, don't overthink stuff. Everything will work out like perfectly fine. Maybe it's, I don't know, like believe the faith and stuff. I don't know, but actually everything worked out perfectly fine for me. Like every semester, I would get so anxious for my classes, for my like the friends around me. But then everything went so smoothly up until now. I would just tell myself, or like I wish I learned more Korean because having Korean, like I'm the type of person who's like really introverted, and because of that, I get embarrassed so fast and so easily. So if I like pronounce something wrong or like say something wrong in Korean, I would be like, oh, what? Why did I say like that? Why was my toning was like that?
Hmm.
You know, like in my mind, I would overthink it so much, but for other person, they would be like, oh, she's a foreigner, but she's still trying her like best to speak Korean. So
In case
just
of
for
that, in
myself,
case of that, how do you
I
think
would,
it compares
yeah,
to Turkey and the Mediterranean side of the world? Because here, when somebody speaks a few
mm,
words in Turkish, we act like family. But how do you think
yeah,
they act against you?
yeah, they same, completely same. Like, also side note, because South Koreans love Turkish people because when they were going through a war in like 1950s, we sent them like some like soldiers, and they're really grateful for that. So they still remember that. So when you tell someone like, "Oh, I'm from Turkey," and then you speak, some Korean, they're like, "Oh my God, like your Korean is amazing. You're almost fluent in it. Like you should, you should be like a translator, do this and that." Like they appreciate you because some people don't realize it, but when you go to another country, it's kind of your responsibility to adapt to their culture.
Hmm.
You cannot expect them to,
Yeah.
always be do the easier thing for you. Like, of course, if you're a tourist and stuff, they will speak English. But if you're going there to live there for 4 years, it's your responsibility to start learning Korean and then, just
Yeah.
make it easy for them. But even if you do, say just like hello and then my name is this, and they'll be like, wow, you're fluent.
Okay, so we speak a lot about Korea, the country, and your university there,
Hmm.
but let's talk a little bit about how you got there and go into a bit more detail because we got a rough
Hmm.
explanation, but not in detail. So, what
Hmm.
projects were you in, and what is your most proud achievement in high school?
Oh, in high school, actually, my high school was, of course, it was like during COVID time when it was second half of 10th grade. grade, the COVID hit, the pandemic. So
Hmm.
from second semester of 10th grade till 11th grade, I think I was like, it was like me being the most passive time of mine. I didn't do anything. I wasn't even able to go out of my, house. So I did most of my things before that. The thing that I'm most proud of for like big project would be I think FTC because we didn't earn, any awards and stuff because we were the first, group in Turkey to be active and like go to like competitions. So we also didn't have anyone to show us, be a guide for us.
Hmm.
But we went to Romania. We still went to Romania. We were in contact with First a lot of times. We were like trying to collect pieces because we couldn't afford so many things. It was really expensive. We didn't have a sponsor. You know, we had to find all of our sponsors by ourselves. And then we were able to, ask for the sponsors to buy our plane tickets and stuff. And then we went to Romania. We stayed there for a couple of days with our teacher. And then we did all of, the robot team and stuff like that. We met many people. And then when we came back, we knew that uh, we weren't gonna win, any awards and stuff. But it was such a great experience for us.
Hmm.
Like first, we went abroad with just one teacher, and we had no idea how it's gonna be, how it's gonna be like. And then we had a lot of fights, like a lot of fights because we were kids, like actual young kids. But that helped us improve our communication skills, like so much because we would, something happen and we would try to blame each other. But that shouldn't be the case because we're one team and
Yeah.
it's like us against the problem, not like each of us like being against each other. So as for like me growing up as a person or like as a team player, FDC was the one thing that I'm like most proud of, and I'm glad that I did it.
Okay, so thank you for your time today. Before closing up, is there anything you would like to add or say?
So I would like to actually add, I don't know if the other my friends talked about this, but being an adult is a big part of going to university, especially
Hmm.
abroad. So I would, how can I say this? Like not to scare people, but it's gonna be hard when you go abroad because you're gonna be the one who's gonna take care of
Yeah.
everything. In Turkey, we actually don't do anything. We don't take care of our like health insurance, our bank stuff. I don't know, SIM cards,
Hmm.
your this and that, like everything. Our like parents are usually like responsible for those things. But when you go abroad, you're gonna be all alone even if you have your friends there, you're still gonna be mentally alone there. So I think it's good to start being more independent or like learning stuff. Like when you go to bank, how do you ask for stuff for health insurance, or if in case of an emergency, who do you call? In at an airport, like a big airport, like Istanbul airport, where would you go if your luggage is lost and stuff like that? So I think it's this time is such a great time for people to step into their like adulthood, that
Hmm.
part of their life, and don't be scared because everything is scary, but you getting anxious is gonna make things worse.
But
So just stay calm.
do you think the pros
Hmm.
outweigh the
Yeah.
cons, or is it the other way around about being an
Oh,
adult?
for like going abroad?
No, being
Oh,
an
alone.
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, adult. Oh, I think I think it's a good thing. Being an adult is a good thing, although there's so much cons of it because then you get to enjoy the part that you weren't able to enjoy when you were a kid, and the independence that you gain will allow you to do so many things or explore
Hmm.
so many things in life, and that's actually really good thing.
And what was the hardest thing, do you think, about being an adult? So you talk about SIM cards and etc. So can you give us just
Mm-hmm.
one scenario that you felt helpless and in need?
Oh, it's gonna be okay. I'll give two because one is for people who go to a country where the English is not the main language.
Hmm.
In that case, I had to call someone, but then I was so helpless because I couldn't understand single thing that like someone was on the phone. I couldn't understand single thing, and my friend was not around me, so I had to ask someone random, like at the campus. I was like, I stopped him like, "Hi, excuse me, like, are you able to like speak English and like Korean and stuff?" Because there's still some like Asian people who like they look Korean but they're not Korean. So she was like, "Yeah, yeah, I am Korean. I can definitely help you." And then she helped me at that time to like talk to them. I think it was like a delivery guy or something.
Oh.
She explained everything. She handled everything for me. So in that case, not knowing the language was like that still makes me feel like I'm helpless. I'm so vulnerable at those
Hmm.
times. But other than that, I think just being alone or not alone, but being lonely. Because when you go abroad, even if you have a bunch of people around you, you might still feel lonely because having adult friends, like or like gaining friends when you're adults or in college is completely different than high school because in high school get to see your friends every single day for like hours and hours, but in college you're not going to see them that often and your beliefs, your value, how you view the life is going to change. So exploring yourself and gaining friends at the same time might be a little like overwhelming, but that's like the part of the adulthood. You get to explore everything, and it's like a fresh new, not even a page, it's like a fresh new book for you to like write everything. So just don't be scared of making new friends or like
Hmm.
being like, oh, I don't get along with this friend of mine. So how's it gonna go? And like would it be hard for me to, hit with people? Like, what if we don't get along because of the language barrier, because of this and that? Just that was the hardest part, but that's also the best part of being an adult, where you get to choose your friends because you're actually interested in same thing, not because you're in the same class or like same school.
So you said that you had all independence. So I think, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, you can choose your lectures there. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So do you still find the lectures as boring as they were in a high school?
Oh, definitely not. Like high school is like it w high school was hard, I'm not gonna lie. But then college is even harder. But for me, it doesn't feel like that because I get to choose my professor, my class, and everything. So I know, like, I read the syllabus. So I know it's gonna be hard, but yet, like, I'm still so interested in the area that I'm okay with the hardness or like the complication of the classes. So when
Hmm.
you're interested in something, it's not gonna feel like high school classes. Definitely not.
So if that's it, we're gonna close the
Mhm.
I forgot the word. Sorry. Oh, live. We're gonna close the live. Sorry for my
Yeah,
English today. I'm very tired. I
it's
was
okay.
awake for 39 hours. Very sorry to everybody watching.
No,
Um,
it was completely fine.
Thank you for joining in today. I'll see you in the
Thank you
next
so
one.
much for inviting me. Bye bye.